Oh, this is Ronan.
Recording has started.
Where's Ronan at?
Ronan refuses to take any responsibility for Tubi Fair.
What? Wait, it's his show though.
We told him it's his show. He has not accepted it. We just told Ronan, hey Ronan, you are in charge of Tubi Fair. Do something with it, and he refuses. So I am taking charge, kind of. So. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tubi Fair. I am Steve. The conversation that was not part of this recording is probably way more interesting than the movie that we're going to be talking about today.
Sign up for our Patreon, and we'll give you access to it.
Yeah, I hope one of you three were recording that, because I sure as hell wasn't. Joined today by Matt.
Hi.
Jeff.
Yes.
And DJ.
I mean, that's usually my name.
I don't know what to do with that information.
Classic.
That DJ
It's just like it used to be.
God. So we kind of maybe have a semi idea for Tubi Fair, where we will watch a movie and then we will let the movie itself direct us to the next film via what we learned about it from Wikipedia, maybe some IMDb trivia. But last time we watched Strike Commando 2, absolutely fucking terrible. But we learned in the IMDb trivia that this movie that we're watching today, Zombie 4, it was pretty much filmed at the same time as Strike Commando 2 in the same location. Because I think the director of this film and the director of Strike Commando 2 were having to trade the same camera back and forth so that they could each get their shots at the same time. It sounded like a pretty shitty thing to be involved with, but here we are. We've watched Zombie 4 Afterlife. Just up front before we actually talk about the plot, air quotes. What was your Matt? You hate zombie movies. What was your initial reaction watching this garbage?
My initial reaction was, what the hell am I watching? It was very bizarre, and then as I got maybe 5 minutes in, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this the rest of the way, which is true. I hated it the rest of the way.
Jeff,
Wow.
You seem to be really on board with this movie. You watched it 3 times, as far as I could tell.
Yeah. So, quick aside, I love the idea that you have for letting the movie kind of chain its way into the next thing. I think that's great, and I think we should keep a log and maybe even put some graphic together after we have depending on how long our interest keeps up. It would be cool to have some sort of graphic with a bar graph and everything, or a line charting how you get from point A to point Z.
One day, Strike Commando is gonna lead us to some Criterion Collection era.
Yeah,
movie.
it'll look like, I'm envisioning on the wall where you have the schizophrenic guy in the movie and he's got the yarn tying pictures together because he's solving the case. We'll see where we end up. But I like the movie. I watched it. Hypnotic, sort of to say. I had to put this on something 3 times because I'd turn it on and then it would just melt my brain and I'd quit paying attention. I'd lose my place. I'd look down at my phone because it's the 21st century and I have no attention span anymore. I'm always jacking around on my phone, and then I'd look back up and it'd be what the hell is going on? So I'd have to rewind it. I watched this probably 3 times, as you said. I still can't describe anything that happened, but something about it. I mean, maybe it's in my lizard brain. I'm into it.
Oh, this is a good movie, man. It was stupid good, but it was good. So one thing you guys may or may not have noticed, but if you listen to the soundtrack for this film as things are happening,
that's a banger.
It's right out of Strike Commando. So,
just in your veins.
Yeah, not the one with
say.
words, but all of the ambient 80s music is literally the music from Strike Commando. So every time they're running around, you hear that doom chicka doom 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 chicka doom doom. That's the same music from the other one. And the fun part is you can tell that sometimes when they were cutting the movie together, the person in charge of music forgot to start the loop at the right spot. So you'll get these abrupt moments where the loop doesn't continue evenly and it transitions poorly, judders and then goes back in again. So that was really fun. I actually that's what kept me going this whole time. I'm ooh, I recognize that. Ooh, I recognize that. And then the film is just a wacky, fun, dumb zombie movie that is really silly. I have sticky notes for everything that I wanted to ask you guys about, but
Oh, I just Googled. There's a 2 LP for $40. I can get the Zombie 4 After Death soundtrack on vinyl.
no, damn. Okay,
Yeah,
I mean,
Pull the trigger.
This looks great.
It's probably worth doing.
Yeah.
So the questions I had first, like, and before we get into the plot, because the plot's very hard to follow, but
100%.
when they start out on that boat, right, and the engine's like having problems or whatever, and they mentioned several times they can't wait to get back to open oceans. And you look at that boat, and that's like a lake boat, like never meant for oceans. Like
That's the continuity error that
Yeah,
broke
that's
it.
where DJ was no longer able to suspend
That's not a
disbelief in
seafaring
this movie.
vessel.
And then like we cut to this family of three that we don't know how they got on the island or why, and they're just like wandering around. What the hell is that about? Like, why didn't we get an intro to that? And
Oh,
then-
there are no intros. Like I feel like the person that made this movie I expected people to go out and buy the novelization of Zombie 4 to like fill in the gaps, because this movie does not explain anything.
Well, and so another thing, like, correct me if I'm wrong on this timeline, but from when the little girl was running until she comes back to the island, we're expected to believe that's about 20 years, right?
Yes.
So they enter the medical shack where the experiments were performed 20 years ago, and the first thing the guy does is pick up a live dripping blood tube that's been there for 20 years and is still slowly dripping out. Like, what?
Well, it's zombie blood. It lasts longer.
Yeah.
What?
Well, also I think that you're
Same thing
meant
with the
to
candles.
infer-
Like, they walk into a room that has candles lit, but no one's been on this island for 20 years doing
Yeah,
anything
I
except
can't
for zombies.
explain the candles, but I believe that the three random hikers that show up in the middle of the movie and kind of like restart the zombie apocalypse, they also went to the island to figure out what happened at this medical center. So I assumed that they had just wandered through there before the mercenaries.
Okay.
So I don't know what I'm losing.
All
the
right,
structure.
next question here before we get into the plot. So are the zombies, because like the zombie style is very confusing. Sometimes they're like flying ninja
These
zombies.
are not traditional zombies.
Sometimes
No,
they're runny
these are
fast
not-
zombies.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're like
the
intelligent.
slow shambling.
Well,
like,
no,
Romero
sometimes they are
zombies.
slow and shambling. Like, there's points where like the zombie just like casually walks up and stands there and goes wah. But then there's other times where they fly out from the corners and through walls and stuff. And then there's yet other times where they're like hyper intelligent and can shoot guns and stuff and have conversations about like, why didn't you protect me? You know, it's like they
DJ
didn't
is
pick one
upset
thing and
about
stick
the
with
lack
it.
of zombie consistency
You thought that
in Zombie 4.
28 Days Later and the Zack Snyder Dawn invented the running zombie thing, but it was actually this movie.
Well, okay, yeah. So another weird thing is like we're led to believe that the zombies are everywhere and they're coming after you. Yet we have this entire scene where they're like napping up against a tree out in the open, and it's like, wait, you ran until they stopped chasing you because they got bored? Like, they're zombies, aren't they supposed to just go forever? Like,
I mean, that's until when I stopped running, right? I run until they stop chasing me.
And then there's another moment where the three explorers, the like muscly guy, he breaks the neck of a zombie, and that like stops the zombie for a while, but then the zombie gets up after a while. Does that play right? Because like, can you just crack the neck of a zombie? He's like, oh, I need to rest for a minute while I recover from this wound.
I mean,
Man, you had a lot
in
of
Zombie
questions
4.
about this movie.
Yeah. Well, I paid a very close attention
It's
to
real.
this.
It's fresh in your mind. You just watched it.
I
Right?
really liked it too. So like, it's
Yeah.
just there's things that like got me going. Like when they walk into the cave and they're doing that whole thing with the book, and they pan over to
You mean
actual.
the Book of the Dead?
Yeah, with something like a 3-year-old held a black crayon in his fist and wrote the Book of the Dead.
And they like literally pan across like actual light bulbs on set, and you're like, wait, what? Come on, man! Like you didn't even try to cover those light bulbs up. So apparently the cave has electricity, but nothing else does.
Oh, DJ, you've seen Troll 2, right?
Yes.
Same director. Does that answer all your questions?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Claudio
No, that-
Fragasso, yes.
That makes sense, and that's probably the reason I liked it, but also thought it was like out of whack with anything.
I mean, you know it's bad, right? You know it's bad.
Oh yeah, but it's like this is bad good. Like I
No,
could sit around with
no,
some
it is
friends and have some
absolutely not
beers
bad
and
good.
probably enjoy this.
no, it's tremendous.
I as a zombie
Tremendous.
movie lover, as a zombie movie lover, I'm on Team Matt. This movie sucks. But let's talk about the plot. Air quotes. We get this opening narration where a bunch of scientists were trying to basically overcome death, and the way that's represented in the movie is a bunch of people in their best business casual outfits showed up uninvited to this island and set up a medical research center. And then a voodoo witch doctor's daughter got sick. The medical people failed to save her, at which point the witch doctor began to blame them, and so the witch doctor summons zombies. These zombies that are all dressed in like these black shrouds and rags, and sometimes they act like normal zombies, sometimes they don't, and apparently that's a very big sticking point for DJ. The zombies wipe out everyone on the island, and there's a family of 3 with a little like 5-year-old. The dad gets killed. The mom is going to go avenge the dad, but rather than fleeing the island with her daughter, she just tells this 5-year-old girl to just run in a random direction and don't stop running, and you'll be safe because I'm giving you this zombie knick-knack.
Listen to me, sweetheart. Now you have to run very fast, you understand? Fast as you can without stopping. And if you're obedient, Mother will join you later. Look, I'll let you wear this, and I want you to run very fast, you understand me?
And then it cuts to like 20 years later, and now the little girl has grown up. She still has the zombie knick-knack necklace, and she's going back to the island with her friend and 4 mercenaries.
Yeah.
But we don't know why, because the main girl, and I don't know any of
They
these
were
characters'
on
names.
vacation or something, right? They were just taking a break.
I don't know, but like they're why do you need to hire 4 mercenaries to just go on vacation? I don't know, but it seems like
In the world we're living in, you might need 4
Yeah,
mercenaries
that's
to
true.
protect you.
Like you would think that like she wants to go investigate the island to see what happened there, solve the mystery of the deaths of her parents and whatnot. But no, like she doesn't even remember anything. So like what this movie would apparently have you believe is 20 years later, this random girl showed up for no particular reason, and it just happened to be this little girl from before, and also she's got her best friend and 4 mercenaries with her.
Well, I
According-
assume she
According to
escaped to like.
Wikipedia, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, DJ.
Oh, I assume she escaped to another island because as a small girl, like it's not like boats are gonna come pick her up. So she probably swam to the next island over and lived her life there happily until the war was over and the mercenaries needed 2 chicks to party with.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, according
See,
to
Jeff gets it.
according to Wikipedia, she brought the mercenaries along to try to uncover what happened to her parents. So I would imagine she remembers all of the zombies when she was a little kid. So she's bringing the mercenaries along for protection to find out whether her parents are still alive or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she eventually starts talking about the zombies, but early on it seems like she's almost amnesiac when it comes to the island. Whatever, we're thinking too hard about this movie. So these 6 people, main girl, not main girl, and 4 mercenaries, their boat starts to die, and so they have no choice now but to dock on this island. There's also 4 random hikers that show up, and they are also trying to solve the mystery of what happened to this medical research group from 20 years ago. So there's kind of like competing stories for a little bit, but eventually they link up. The mercenaries and main girl and not main girl, they just start going off around the island, and one of the mercenaries spots a zombie, goes off to attack that zombie, thinks he kills him, but zombie, hey. So the zombie bites him, and so the mercenaries and their friend get their now injured mercenary friend and the 2 ladies, and they go and camp out at the research facility. Meanwhile, the 3 hikers go, they find like the underground cavern where the witch doctor was from the
With
beginning of the
electricity.
film. With electricity. And they find the Book of the Dead. And the Book of the Dead is like a big book where, as we've said, someone just wrote the Book of the Dead on the cover. And so these 3 people begin reading it, and one guy who ends up being like the main hiker.
I like the lighting in this scene, like the greens and stuff. It's very giallo-esque.
Oh yeah, looks great.
I'm glad you were able to find the positives in this film.
Hey, the music's good too. We all agree the music's
Yeah,
cool.
But
sure.
80s music in general is fantastic. I'm not giving the movie props for that.
Oh, all right.
But they begin reading from the Book of the Dead, and the main hiker reads the passage, and it gets to the point where there are 4 words that if you say these 4 words, it will restart the zombie apocalypse.
If you want to open the door to hell today, these 4 words you must say. Anatanum. Zombie. Baraton. Zombie.
And he refuses to say it, the 4 words. And so the other guy takes the book and he reads the 4 words. And the 4 words are in a foreign language. They're not translated. The subtitles that I was watching didn't explain the 4 words, but he translates them as zombie. So to summon zombies in this world, you just say the word zombie, and then zombies appear. Very scientific. I hope you could follow along with that.
Well, it's like when you say Candyman, right?
Yeah.
Candyman 5 times, Candyman pops up.
Yep.
Yeah, well, apparently the Ninja Shroud
Beetlejuice,
zombies
Mr.
work the same
Boogedy.
way
This is
here.
this is well established.
Come on, Steve.
Well, they only said zombie twice though, so they didn't hit the 3 to 5 the 3 to 5 metric that we employ
There's some.
here.
What if there was some demon out there? It's like you only say it once. That'd be really unfair.
Yeah, how would you get around that? There would
That's
it would have to be like it would have to be like in Warlock where the Julian Sands is trying to find God's name. Like you only have to say it once, but there has to be a mystery of how you figure out the name.
Okay.
Why didn't we
It can't
watch
just be-
that?
That's I don't know. It's
Rest
like
in peace, Julian Sands, by the way.
Oh, that made me sad. Anyways, you can't just have like a god named Bob and someone accidentally says Bob and then Bob the Destroyer shows up.
That's a good idea for a story, though. Like, what if you accidentally you accidentally say a word, and you have no idea.
That's a good idea.
This demon comes out, and you're like, "What the hell happened here?" And
So I think the more interesting story would be you have like Bob the demon, a demon with a very common name, and this demon is just sick of being accidentally summoned. Write that up.
What if? Okay, wait. What if the words give him power, and so like the demon's name is Valtrex, and every time a commercial comes on, he gets like that much more power. That would be great.
Well, why don't you write that?
I like it.
Anyways, now zombies are back. 2 of the hikers are dead, so now we have just the main hiker, who, according to Wikipedia, is a guy named Jeff Stryker, who's like a famous porn actor.
hang on. Let me to curb my enthusiasm a little bit.
Yes, Jeff Stryker, according to Wikipedia, he is an American porn star who has starred in bisexual, gay, and straight adult films. He lives in California.
John Waters called him the Cary Grant of porn.
Yes.
The Cary Grant of porn.
Is this what's going to lead us to the next Tubi Fair? A Jeff Stryker
Oh,
film?
no. Oh, wow.
According to Wikipedia, like this was his first non-porn role, so he really made the best of it. He chose unwisely.
Wait, which character was he in this? Was he the strapping young lad that?
Yeah, the guy who makes it up to the end.
He was the hiker.
Okay, the one who like
that didn't die.
When he got blood all over me, felt his boobs for like 5 minutes and stared at himself. You guys didn't watch that scene?
Stryker has released a country music album titled Wild Buck.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that sounds like a positive.
There you go. So
here's some tracks.
Wild Buck.
He was in a short film called "Can I Be Your Bratwurst, Please?"
Oh man, this Wikipedia is amazing. Merchandising: the Jeff Stryker Cock and Balls, a dildo fashioned from a cast of his penis, is widely sold in sex stores. The dildo was academically analyzed in a paper presented at the 1995 Bowling Green State University Conference in Cultural Studies entitled "Lesbian Pornography and Transformation." So there you go.
Okay.
Interesting.
Tracy Lords describes him as handsome but rather dumb looking.
Okay.
Good to know. Zombies are here now, and so Jeff Stryker, the last remaining random hiker,
Stryker the
hiker, he runs off to escape the zombies. He eventually makes his way to the medical center where everyone else is. The zombies have begun attacking, and so you've got main girl, not main girl, and 3 mercenaries who are currently alive. Their friend that gets bitten eventually becomes a zombie and basically eats the not main girl. The main girl starts lighting candles and puts the little zombie necklace she has in the center of it, and that keeps the zombies away. Yes, the Circle of Satan, which is just a bunch of candles in a half circle, and you put the little action figure she wears around her neck into the center of it, and that keeps the zombies at bay. And it absolutely works. But then the super cocky mercenary, he says "fuck this noise" and blows out all the candles. So he allows the zombies to attack. They also start a fire outside of the medical center to keep the zombies at bay. But then when they realize that their mercenary buddy who's zombified, this guy, the super cocky mercenary says, "Well, fuck it. Like, if this is our fate, if we're all going to get bitten by the zombies and become one of them, I'm going to take out as many of them as I can." And so he runs and leaps over the fire and starts blasting zombies.
If that's an example of what's going to happen to us all when they bite us, then I'm going to get plenty of them first. Come and get it, you stinking bastards! I'll kill you! I'll kill you all!
But then the zombified girl now kills him, and so now there are only 2 mercenaries left. The main girl and Striker Hiker.
So, question on the candle thing, because she does get the candles lit at some point, and it seems to obey all of the rest of the zombies. They like stop outside, except for the zombies that are in the house that seem to be unaffected by this candle power, and then they end up coming in and like knocking over the candles and like attacking people. So are we in the candles work camp or the candles don't work camp? Because I'm not sure that
maybe the fresher the zombie,
the less
more
resistant they are
to
okay.
the candles.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'll buy that.
The only zombies that get near the Circle of Satan candles are like the mercenary zombie who just turned into a zombie. That's what I'm going with. I'm filling in the blanks as best I can here.
No, because I mean that guy talks like as a zombie. You know,
Yeah, so we got everyone. I think they get the candles relit because the zombies are staying outside. But one of the mercenaries is out there, watching, for zombies. But then the mercenary that just got zombified comes out and starts talking to him and laughing. And this very intelligent zombie like lures him to a chapel. And then shoots the living mercenary. So this mercenary zombie has a gun.
He's running a gun,
and he purposely like shoots to not kill the living mercenary because he wants to bite this mercenary and have another zombie mercenary.
Yeah, once again, this movie breaking ground.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So now we end up with we've got 3 mercenaries left. One of them is a zombie. One of them is becoming a zombie, and we have one remaining like living zombie. And the mercenary that just got bitten is like, just fucking kill me. Just shoot me now. I absolutely do not want to be a zombie. And everyone else goes, nope, not doing it. And so they just bring him back to the research center where he just dies. And no one thinks that, okay, well, he's dead now. Everyone just thinks that's the end of it. Apparently, they haven't put 2 and 2 together yet and realize that bites equal zombies. So they just let this dead body sit there. And so a little bit of time goes on. They're about to fight the zombies again. And then the last remaining mercenary says, wait a minute, I should probably go like shoot my buddy's corpse in the head. And so he goes back and he pulls the sheet off of this dead mercenary, and the dead mercenary has gotten a gun. And so now we have 2 mercenary zombies with guns, and this newly zombified mercenary also shoots this other mercenary. Again, shoots to wound, not to kill, because their purpose is to zombify everyone. Main girl and Striker Hiker run away. The last remaining mercenary blows himself up with some grenades that just happened to be there and took all the rest of the zombies with them. So main girl and Hiker go back to the underground cave where all this was happening.
Yeah.
And she figures out that, okay, to stop the zombies, I have to throw my little zombie action figure amulet into this, like, I don't know, hell pit that's just in there, just this flaming like hole in the wall. So she throws her amulet in there. There's an explosion that immediately zombifies her, and then the hiker gets his like chest punched through from behind
for a long time.
Which looked great.
For a long time.
But I thought there was a statement at the end though, where when she like, the only way to stop this is to sacrifice myself. and then she throws the amulet in. So the idea being that like tossing the amulet in plus like giving up her own life would stop the zombies.
Well, it didn't work because this explosion just immediately zombified her.
Yeah.
And the movie just ends. Like, I have no fucking idea what happened in this movie.
I assume she was successful because like her zombification means that she is like done it. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, if any of you have takes on the end of this movie and what it's supposed to be representing, feel free, because I don't have a goddamn thought.
Drop that in the comments. I think like you have to talk to the writer. I think it's something of a fool's. I mean, God bless you. It's something of a fool's errand to attempt to even describe it like as we have here. I searched around a little bit for other reviews and wikis and stuff, and a thing that came up repeatedly was the movie was criticized upon release for being incoherent. The ending made no sense in particular, was called out multiple times, and just overall it's just incoherent, which anyone would agree with. I think you can't really make any sense of this. You would have to have whoever wrote it come and tell you this is what I meant, because you cannot derive it from the film.
Oh no, they were just going for Raiders of the Lost Ark ending. That's it, you know.
Yeah.
She saw hell and she melted.
Well, I thought maybe it wasn't a hell pit. Maybe it was a help pit. Like you throw things in, there that you need help with.
And then they melt your face off.
And then they help you by turning you into a zombie.
Well, we don't always know what's best for us. The help pit does.
Do you think she really was turned into a zombie, Steve, or was she just melting?
She was turned into like a zombie that was maybe like Queen Zombie. Like maybe she was gonna. They make these illusions, like when you run into the opening sequence where they invade that voodoo ritual, and they're making these allusions to like the outside world and the zombie uprising, right? So there's like this takes place in a universe where there's like a zombie epidemic going on. It sounds like,
but only on that island.
Yeah. We should also mention, we haven't done so, but this is called Zombie 4 or After Death is an alternative or subtitle. In Italy, where this was made, I don't know that it's cynical because it's just something they did or that they were allowed to do. It was accepted over there. You can just name a movie like, you know, in 1985, they could have made Fast and Furious Part 11 in Italy, and it would have nothing to do with anything, but they're just allowed to title their movie that way. So they're trading on the zombie title name just to sell this product, so to speak.
Yet the history of the zombie, like the zombie series, air quotes, is like way more interesting than any of the movies.
For sure.
Like I remember, like I really, really loved like Zombie 2.
Is that the one with the splinter in the eye?
Yeah, the splinter in the eye. That's the movie. Yep. So I remember like watching that, and over here it was called Zombie 2, and I was like, what's Zombie 1? Like
right.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, exactly. But that's me. Like this was, like late '90s when I was trying to figure this out. I just had to go to a movie store, and I kept going to movie stores. Do any of them have a movie called Zombie 1? Nope. And it wasn't until like years later that I learned that I had seen Zombie 1 many, many years ago. It was just the original Dawn of the Dead. It's just in Italy they just called it Zombie. And they made a bunch of unrelated zombie movies and framed them as sequels, even though they had absolutely nothing to do with Dawn of the Dead. And I'm assuming Zombie 3 and Zombie 4 both had nothing to do with the Fulci movie.
This was also made in 1988, 89, and one of the things I read, again, I'm cribbing from what I've read, but they said this is sort of one of the last gasps of this type of thing. After a while, they didn't do this in Italy anymore. It just didn't make any sense. It wasn't commercially viable in the way that it had been in the years leading up to Zombie 4.
Yeah, the writer of this movie, Rosella Drudy. Rosella Drudy is actually Claudio Fragaso's wife. And they're still doing stuff. They just made a movie called Karate Man. She wrote it. He directed it in 2022. Yep. So they're still out there kicking. Good for them.
Great.
Good for them.
Great.
Yeah, I saw looking at Wikipedia. It's like the zombie series isn't even. It's not even consistent between countries. Like Italy has their own series of zombie movies, and they all seem to start with either Dawn of the Dead or Zombie 2, but then everything kind of goes off the rails from there. Like Italy has their own version, and Australia has their own version, and as recently as 2020, like a new entry was being made. It's like Zombie 9 plus some stupid subtitle. Like, so this is somewhat still going on to this
Is this
very
like
day.
their version of Amityville?
Could
You know how
be.
over here in the U.S., like everybody puts in Amityville,
Yeah.
the Amityville microwave and the Amityville whatever. Maybe that's the same thing with Zombie over there.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like I think the history of these movies is much more interesting than this movie itself, and probably any of the other movies, maybe with the exception of Dawn of the Dead and Zombie 2. But this this movie sucked. Matt, how did you feel about it? I know you love zombie movies.
Yeah, I hate zombie movies. For anyone who doesn't know, I hate them. I think they're terrible. I think zombies are the worst, I guess, quote unquote, monster in horror. I've always hated them.
Do you even? I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you even like, for example, like the original Night of the Living Dead? Do you like that?
Yeah, I like
Okay,
the original
okay.
Night of the Living Dead. So, but generally speaking, in my opinion, everything that needed to be said about
Yeah.
zombies ended in 1985 with Day of the Dead and Return of the Living Dead, right? So you basically had the end of Romero's trilogy, and then you had the high point of satire of zombies in the same year, and after that, now they just run fast. That's all we have to add to this genre.
Well, apparently there was this unknown era of zombie movies where they dressed like ninjas and did flips and chased people.
But to get to your question, Steve, I didn't like this. This is not something that would ever be in my wheelhouse. I did find it kind of like the first 5 to 10 minutes were entertaining in a way, just where it's just like, what the hell am I watching, sort of thing. But it quickly got old, and it quickly got uninteresting for me. I'm like, all right, I got it. How long is this? Thankfully, it's only like, I think it's less than an hour and a half, so it's not not
definitely.
a huge time sink or anything like that. But this wasn't. But there were good things about it. I actually liked some of the really low budget gore effects that they did in there. Like there's one where a guy's face kind of gets like ripped off and his eyeballs kind of popping out. The Italians loved doing stuff with eyeballs, and that's always kind of like cool to see. I love the music in it, but again, I don't know if I love this particular music or it's just I like that kind of 80s synthy weird canon-esque movie scores. But I like that. There are things I liked in it, but as a whole, no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me, and I got bored with it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can see that. I as a zombie movie lover, I was ready for this to end pretty early on. I am checking out the After Death trivia because this is probably what's going to lead us to another film at some point. The director had no idea that Jeff Stryker was a famous adult movie actor.
That's
until after he was
incredible.
cast.
That's incredible. That seems like the only reason he would be there.
See, I think maybe the director's lying.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just the cover story. The singer of the main theme song, which again says "Dust in your veins, mummify insane." The lyrics of this thing sound like bad Google Translate results.
I think Prodigy ripped off Firestarter from that.
I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna let that go. The main singer joined an Italian Led Zeppelin tribute band called Custard Pie. Apparently, Dom the Dragon Wilson is in this movie at some point. Did any of you catch?
I didn't pick that out, no.
Yeah, I didn't either, but he got credited because I thought that I saw it's the credits, and then the last thing it says is like, and Don Wilson. I have no idea who he was in this movie.
What if you know how it's they do this cynical thing where they pay Bill Moseley like whatever his fee is and he just shows up for a scene and they slap that on the cover of their VHS? What if like back then they had this even more cynical thing where they just put his name in the credits and he wasn't even in the movie, but they
It's like a picture of him on the wall or something like that.
Yeah, well, I don't even see like the movie clearly said Don Wilson.
Okay, this says his name is actually Donald Wilson, and he played a character named Tommy as Don Wilson. So who is
wasn't Tommy the first guy to get bit?
Yeah, Tommy was the first mercenary to get bit. That was not the Don the Dragon Wilson that we know, but in the after death trivia, that is the Don the Dragon Wilson that is linked. So apparently there are multiple Don Wilsons, and IMDb cannot keep track of them.
Are you saying we can't trust IMDb? Is that what you're telling me?
I am not saying it, but I am thinking it loudly.
Fair enough.
So one question for you guys, and maybe I'm incorrect on this, but
Just one?
Well, yeah, one more question. In addition to all the previous ones. But so there's the guy at the very beginning that's doing the like blaxploitation dance weird thing that sort of like changes genres in the whole film before we move on. Is he the like main zombie that we see like creeping around towards the end and occasionally get these like close-up shots of him staring into the distance, or did I misinterpret that?
Like the voodoo priest guy?
Yeah, because it feels like that was
felt
one
like
of the
they
characters.
just kind of disappeared, but I don't know.
Okay, because when I was watching it, like I couldn't tell for sure. They close up on one zombie a bunch of times, and he had kind of a cleaner face and like a shiny head, and was in several spots, and his face looked similar to the main dude that was the voodoo priest at the beginning. So I wasn't sure if that was him coming back or not.
I don't even remember there being like a main zombie that shows up. Like after a while, they're all dressed like identically, except for like the new zombies that have just been created from the handful of survivors.
Well, you run out of clothes selection after a while and just have to wear black rags because apparently they grow on trees.
All right, I found the actual Don Wilson, and yes, IMDb got him confused. So Don the Dragon Wilson has like 70 to 80 credits over his career. The Don Wilson from this movie has 12.
Oh,
It's just a slight little, discrepancy there.
Interesting.
I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, that was Zombie 4 After Death. I don't have much else to say. This movie was kind of a nonsensical train wreck from start to finish.
So on the soundtrack, Al Fiesta, who wrote the
What a cool name.
soundtrack for Gypsy Angel, Fatal Frames, Zombie 4, 6 different versions apparently, and Robo Wars. Like maybe Robo Wars is the connection to the next film.
Oh.
Is Robo Wars on Tubi?
Probably. This seems like a movie that would definitely be on a Tubi.
Well, you look at that. I will point out that the trivia here on IMDb, which we've already established is absolutely rock solid, says the late gorgeous Candace Daly, Jim Games, Don Wilson, Massimo Vanni, Ottaviano Dell'Acqua, Claudio Fragrassa, and the late Romano Puppo previously appeared in Bruno Mattei's Cop Game, 1988. So we have pretty much the whole cast of this was actually in a movie called Cop Game by Bruno Mattei, who arguably is even a worse director than Claudio Fragrassa. So, yeah. I don't know if that's available for streaming anywhere, but Cop Game might be another one we look into.
I do have Robo War on Tubi Fair. I found it on IMDb as well. It's directed by Bruno Mattei. It's got Reb Brown of Strike Commando 1 fame.
Oh, nice.
It's described as a clone/mix of Predator, Rambo, and RoboCop gone nuts jungle flick
You
with
son
an
of a bitch, I'm
international exotic locale and good electronic music.
All right.
I feel
So
like
it's the same movie.
I feel like I might have seen this one
Are we never
before.
going to escape Italian films? Is that just the circle that Tubi Fair is just going to keep leading us around in?
Well, like I said, Steve, we always have the option to go down the Jeff Stryker rabbit hole.
Well,
yeah, I mean, there's a hole to go down.
Review a movie for the channel and report back.
Let me see if he was in anything else that was not porno.
Looks like there's a few things according to Wikipedia.
I didn't know he was a famous
nothing
wiener,
I've heard
though.
of.
That's kind of interesting.
Well, I just want to say that this is absolutely representative of why you can't sleep on Tubi. You have to. I think we're in an era now where we're in like the deep streaming era. Like, in my opinion, you are a total chump if you're paying Spectrum or whoever for cable TV these days. DirecTV. I don't even know who the players in the market are. I think I think only like your grandma or boomers or whoever are still doing that because the product is just not where you want to be. You want to be picking your streaming services a la carte. And there's really micro niche streaming services, like there's Hi-Ya for martial arts and action, and Shudder for horror, and even 3 or 4 variations of each of those that are even more micro. Not everybody wants to be paying for that many different things. And the one place that you can go to get a little bit of all this goofy offbeat stuff is Tubi, as far as what I know. Like, I can't pull up Netflix or Disney Plus, and let's be honest, this movie's bad. I don't really think it's a good movie, although I really enjoyed it. You can't find this on your Disney Plus or your Netflix or Amazon Prime, maybe, but it's not on Hulu, it's whatever. So Tubi is the place you go to find stuff like this, which I personally really enjoy.
Well,
so
hold on. So Tubi, Roku Channel, and Plex are actually all of
Plex isn't really a service.
No, Plex though. So Plex bought Quibi, and
I don't know
a
what
certain point of view.
I don't know what Quibi is.
Okay, so Quibi was that like
We should,
ill-fated.
if we were going to name it, we got to think of what a name, because Quibi sounds
I'm
like a
putting
Jeff
this in the
Stryker
video.
like toy that they would sell at Adam and Eve or something.
So Quibi was like an investor free for all. They put like millions and millions of dollars into it,
Oh,
and then like
okay, I
it
think I remember
crashed.
that.
And they were paying like every creator and their brother to make
like
short-form
5-minute weird movie. Yeah.
Yep,
okay.
exactly. So when they collapsed, Plex rolled in and bought the entire content library from them for like 15 million or something. So like 1% of the value that they had spent on it. And then during that acquisition, they also got streaming with ad rights to basically the entire Tubi collection. So Plex, on top of its less savory usage, let's say, also has live television, Plex TV, commercial-driven movie selection choices, and all of the Quibi back library. Plus, if you have bunny ears in my area, there's channels like
Grit.
Yeah, Grit.
Hell yeah.
And those all show up on Plex's live television selection.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So, and that's the one thing where like Tubi versus Plex is different. Is Tubi, you can go search out any movies and stuff, but someone is still like putting together a lineup on Plex, and you can watch live Plex TV where it's just some guy like, oh well, I feel like these 6 sci-fi movies go back to back.
It's a fun vibe check to turn on the rabbit ears. I encourage everyone to try that in your local area. See what comes in there, because it's kind of surprising sometimes.
Yeah, Pluto. I don't know if you've ever watched Pluto, but
Pluto's
like,
great. Stuff's great.
Yeah,
Watching weird prescription medication commercials, and then like you watch Kojak or whatever.
Tubi's incredible. I love Tubi. I sing the praises. I will watch Tubi with the ads just because I want to support Tubi.
Yeah.
It's so good. It has
how do you
so many
watch
cool
it
things.
without the ads? Is there like a workaround somewhere?
No, see the way you get around that is you just play it, just run it through with all the ads, and then for Stevecast, just have the Google Chrome blocker for it. That's how it's done.
No,
clearly.
By the way, do you guys watch anime? You guys are anime guys. You guys know of an anime called Trigun?
Yeah,
Sure.
I love Trigun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Apparently, Jeff Stryker did voices in
Oh,
that
you're shitting
anime.
me.
Oh,
No,
then
I
our
knew it was
next
IMDb.
thing is all of Trigun. I guess
No,
we
we've
have
already
to do
settled on Robo War. By the way, I clicked on Robo War in IMDb, and the very first shot is stock footage of a helicopter flying around that I'm absolutely positive was in both Strike Commando.
that. Yeah,
and Strike
I've seen
Commando.
that shoot down before, even with the like little digital eye thing.
Yeah, I'm all on board with Robo War, but that's all I got to say about Zombie 4. Anything else before we wrap this up?
So this is completely unrelated.
Yes, a lot to talk about.
Have you guys watched Vox Machine or Vox Machina, the machine or whatever? It's I didn't even know this was a thing, and like
I've seen a
watching...
movie called Ex Machina.
Ex Machina?
No,
This
this one's
Oscar
basically
Isaac.
like there apparently was a Kickstarter off of like a
Okay.
live D&D game that was going on YouTube, and they turned it into a cartoon, and the cartoon's actually really good. It's on Amazon Prime. They managed to kickstart like 25 episodes, and it's done so well it'll continue on. And the people that play it on YouTube are on like season 6 or 7 of their D&D quest, and like the cartoon is basically just following exactly what happens in the D&D quest as they're playing live tabletop, only done with good animation, and it's. I mean, Jeff's like groaning over there, so maybe this isn't his bag.
Is my camera on? You can see me?
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel
Oh,
it.
okay. Oh, man.
But it's super enjoyable. If you're into that sort of thing, a great way to get into D&D.
So we don't have anything else to say about Zombie 4.
No,
I
no.
mean, my
don't.
D&D character is going to be like one of the mercenaries from Zombie 4 because I can't imagine anyone more badass.
Great.
That girl at the beginning should be your D&D character. Loved her dance.
I have no idea how to wrap this up.
I
Thanks
love her
everyone.
dance.
You can do it in post.
Thanks everyone for listening to another episode of To Be Fair. Join us again in probably 3 or 4 more months when we watch Robo War.
I'm actually excited for that one.
Hell yeah.
Just the
cover
description.
looks. Who does the art for these? Because that cover looks badass.
It looks great. Yeah, it's great.
Like I feel like they're really.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, most of the sales pitch is in the cover, not in the actual movie.
Let's just keep talking so Steve has to, edit
No,
all this stuff
stop
out.
stopping recording. Stop.
Okay.